but my vagina is pretty much a meritocracy.
So who cares? Why not do your own thing and let them say what they want?
Hey guys, today I have a video for you that's going to be a little bit more long-winded, more like a stream of consciousness video and less like an edited, perfectly formed or perfectly researched video. I'm going to do a little bit of introspection as I've had something on my mind the past few days, and while I might ask some rhetorical questions, I don't necessarily need answers to these questions. I feel as though self-actualization and knowing oneself is one of the most important things you can do in your entire life, and I think I'm still learning about myself even though I am so confident in knowing about myself and being myself every single day and how easy it is for me to be so because I feel so comfortable in my own skin. It's still not a 100% completed process, at least, and I wouldn't say that there is ever a point where you can't improve upon where you are in life in any circumstance, in any way. Today, we're going to talk about, well, to make this a little bit more interesting, let's phrase it this way. I think you guys have kind of noticed by now that my vagina isn't entirely, well, not a completely unbiased. I definitely have some obvious biases there, but my vagina is pretty much a meritocracy. I think you guys have noticed that because I will often become attracted to not people who are my specific personal physical type, but also to people who I find to be admirable in some way or who have some skill that I personally covet or someone who I want to be more like, basically. Obviously, I have my standard type, and I do put merit in being physically attractive, especially in my ideal male physical attractiveness, because that requires not only you to completely embrace your virility and manliness in an age where people are telling you that every kind of masculinity is toxic masculinity and there isn't really a biological difference between men and women and that you should just kind of assimilate with Ritalin in any way possible into kind of being more like a woman as a man. But aside from that, it does take a lot of discipline, a lot of self-knowledge, and just a lot of perseverance to get the muscle mass and everything that I require if I'm gonna go solely off of your physical appearance. But you guys have noticed, I will fall for people like Ben Shapiro, who are obviously not my physical ideal, and I would argue societal's physical ideal of attractiveness. I combine everything in my life with sexuality, not everything, but almost everything. Everything in my life I can romanticize into something that makes it a little bit sexual. Whether it's working out, I'll fantasize about being kind of like Baby Doll from Sucker Punch. I've told you guys this before, but it gets me through a workout to be able to fantasize about being a strong, dominating woman, just desecrating all of the people who stand in my way, who stand to like hold me down or whatever. And I find there to be a sexual release in that as well, in being someone who's powerful or being a badass at such a small stature, basically, stuff like that. I can romanticize and sexualize anything while still keeping my feet on the ground and firmly planted in the objective. Obviously, I can do both, and I'm not completely neurotic, you know? I find it sexy, and I'm not just trying to virtue signal like a lot of girls. I'm definitely not one of those girls that say like, all that matters is personality in a sexual partner. In fact, I think that physical attractiveness, at least a very base level of physical attractiveness, goes into whether or not I will have sex with you. Obviously, I don't think Ben Shapiro is disgusting. There are certain turnoffs and certain deal breakers, and we'll get back to that a little bit later. I'll mention a few of the deal breakers, and I'll just mention it, you'll see. In terms of people like Ben Shapiro that I have a strong sexual attraction to, but they're not physically my type, it's because I admire something about them, and I see all of these people, especially with how easy it is to access all of these people on YouTube and stuff, who have their own niche in the world, and they're very, very, very good at what they do. And I'll look at this, and even if I don't see them in a sexual light, and even if I don't admire them in a way that makes me sexually attracted to them, I see so many people who they've put all of their effort into one specific thing, and they're good at this one specific thing to the heights of which I could never imagine. Like, I could never be, at least in my opinion, as good as they are at what they're doing without dedicating my entire life to it, which obviously most of them have done this, unless they're like some kind of savant or something and they're just really good at a random thing. But I find myself admiring that kind of person, and I'm the kind of person that doesn't really like to be around my exact carbon copy, right? I like the people I'm around to bring a new perspective to me so that I can have intelligent conversations with them, and it doesn't just feel like I'm parroting my thoughts back at them, or they're gonna yes man me into like some sycophantic dream of like, oh, I know everything and this guy thinks I'm the fucking world. I would rather have a conversation with someone or spend my time with someone where in certain circumstances where it wouldn't make it impossible for us to spend time together, we are more opposites. Maybe not polar opposites. Obviously, if I have a friend or especially a significant other like Jay or something, someone that I actually have in my life every single day, that person has to uphold certain ideals that I find to be very important, certain like basic values and stuff. But I think we can differ in a lot of different things. And I find attractive the most people who have the certain characteristics that I want to see in myself, but that I know I'll never see. Recently, you guys told me to watch Adam Neely's YouTube channel. A lot of people have been saying that, but one of the videos that I watched of his was like, it was like a really old video of his, admittedly, and it was like really low quality, and I didn't really give it a chance. But then, Eve, I'm trying to record a video. Come here. You gonna just stare at me, or what the fuck? So anyway, I finally decided to give him another chance because I wanted to see something about bass guitar. If you guys don't know, I'm trying to learn bass guitar, so that's basically what spurred the interest in Adam Neely's channel. But I saw that you guys know I love philosophy, and we're just gonna ignore the fucking cat, okay? We're gonna ignore Eve being a total cunt. He added in some philosophy from my favorite philosopher, or who I would say was my favorite philosopher when I first got into philosophy, Friedrich Nietzsche. Talking about Friedrich Nietzsche's take on music. Oh my god! Are you okay, baby? What happened? I'll be right back, guys. I don't know what's wrong with my cat. Okay, she's fine. She's just being a little fucking weird like usual. She like ran into my fucking camera and ruined everything. But anyway, Adam Neely's video on Friedrich Nietzsche and music, right? So he talked about, I'll just link the video down in the description, but it really struck a chord with me because it was, no pun intended, I already made that joke on my Discord, but now that I accidentally made it, I have to own up to it. It was amazing to see someone so articulate and so good at constructing a coherent thought and then tying it in together at the end. And then some of the knowledge that he has about music far extends like knowledge of the bass guitar. He just like things that I could never imagine knowing in my entire life. And I spent 8 years playing the flute, and now I've spent like 3 or 4 months playing the bass. People who are just very good at one thing. Just, they have their thing and they found their thing. I admire that. And for a long time, I thought that I had to be that person. I tried for so long to be into competitive StarCraft, and I tried so long to make my one thing to be modeling and artistic expression in photography and stuff like that. But I always found myself being interested in other things and therefore pursuing other things alongside my main thing. Recently, over the past few years, I've realized that I'm just the kind of person that prefers to be a jack of all trades and master of none. Now, it's supposed to be, isn't it supposed to be a jack of all trades, master of one, but they've kind of fucked up that saying by making it jack of all trades, master of none, which is like a lot worse. I don't know, I've struggled so long thinking that possibly it was a lack of drive or a lack of discipline, that my hedonistic tendencies were somehow getting in the way of me becoming a great in some certain something, you know? And it's so funny because a lot of people will say I'm talentless, and I don't know what talent means to you, but let's say that it's the actual having some kind of skill in something, not necessarily something you're born with. I feel like talent is more like raw talent, like you just have a natural predisposition to being able to do something. But my entire life I've been really good at picking up on little tidbits of knowledge. Like if I wanted to learn a small thing in makeup, or if I wanted to learn a small thing in Photoshop, all I had to do was watch someone do it, and then I was able to do it myself. Not to the best degree. I wasn't perfect at it. I never completely honed any kind of skill, but I am so mediocre at thousands of fucking things. Like literally thousands of things. I think I can name so many things that I've become mediocre at that people don't even know anything about over the years. And I like that about myself. I've become someone who feels at home in my skin, never being a master of anything, just knowing a lot of different things. I don't strive for being just good at one thing, because every time I've tried to do that, I've done it for a while and I've lost interest. I strive to just gain knowledge. And when the knowledge is useful to me, when the knowledge helps me do something and it's like a means to an end of something that I really want for myself, or like an image I'm creating for myself, it makes me so happy, and that's where I find my passion. And my passion, I feel, starts to wane when I start to realize that if I continue to invest all of my time in this one thing, all of the other things that I love so much are gonna be thrown to the wayside. The biggest instance of this is me and StarCraft versus me and variety gaming. My entire life, I grew up very, very spoiled. I had literally every game I could ever ask for. My parents were very amazing. I had like all the fucking systems. My friends came over and we played party games together, and then my like closer friends would come over and we'd play co-op or just single player games, and I would watch or he would watch. And it was because I had fucking everything, okay? So I think I was just kind of raised to be a game hopper, where I would play a game until I lost interest in it, and then I would move over to a newer game, or a game that just like, I randomly just get the inkling like, damn, I'm feeling like some fucking Monster Rancher today. And then I'd fucking boot up Monster Rancher, we'd play some shit, we'd go to the shrines, we'd put in music CDs, we'd make monsters, it was amazing. And then I would get sick of it and I'd move over like, you know, I feel like playing fucking Metal Gear Solid today, and I'd play that until I absolutely couldn't hide in a box any longer. For me, that's just where I feel at home, and I'm wondering if it's a product of my environment and it's actually like a toxic part of me that I should try to overcome. But at the same time, I'm happy with myself, you know? But there are certain times when I watch a Ben Shapiro video and I see what an amazing pundit he is and how well he can deconstruct someone else's argument because he knows it better, or just as well as he knows his own argument. That doesn't necessarily mean that I want to be a political pundit per se, but it does mean that I want to be that good at my thing, and I get that inkling to be that good at my thing. And I really don't feel like it's a lack of discipline on my end, because I feel like the amount of time that I've spent on all of these other things, like many different things, is the same amount of time that Ben Shapiro has spent on his one thing, you know? But I really do admire, especially people in the public sphere who are able to concisely say what they mean. I'm very, like, right now I'm doing okay, but see, there's a lot of me getting off track. There's a lot of me not centralizing in on what I'm talking about. Like, I've strewn away. Now we're on another thing altogether. I forget vocabulary words that would be, if I'm thinking about this video in my head, I'm a fucking genius. My vocabulary is in full force and I'm able to just like poop out the perfect video. But then once I start putting it to actual words, when the words process through my brain and come out my mouth, they're just jumbled and awful, and I hold myself to a higher standard. Like, I'm sure you guys are thinking like, oh, you know, she's very pleasant to, you know, listen to or whatever. But I hold myself to a higher standard because I know what I can be in my head and through writing. And it's just it's not a good representation of what I can be when it comes down to like videos. And I feel like it's not just people who are really good at music or really good at politics or really good at whatever. It's people who are that, and they're also great fucking public speakers and stuff. And I want to do that, and I don't even know where to start. Like, obviously, like I said, all I have to do is watch a video or watch someone else do something and watch their process, and I can fucking imitate it and then make it my own. But with this, it's like, where the fuck do I even start? Do I just sit there and do like the singing practice where I'm like saying tongue twisters or something? Like, what do I do to prepare to be better, to be more cognitively focused while I'm talking about stuff? Back to the game hopping thing. My whole life, I was a game hopper. I enjoy all different genres of games. I enjoy just like fucking around with shit. I enjoy a good story, but I also enjoy like certain multiplayer aspects of online games. I enjoy party games with my friends, and I enjoy indie games that are just platformers that are just mechanically hard. So when I got into StarCraft, when I got into streaming, it was better, and it is better when you're creating content to find your niche and then build a gigantic audience of people who love that niche and love you for that niche. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not a multifaceted person. It's just the best that your content isn't super diverse so that you can actually gain a large audience. Because obviously, if on one hand I'm doing gaming stuff, I'm going to have a gaming audience, but on the other hand, I'm going to polarize my gaming audience when I start to talk about philosophy or my ideals on gun control or something, which I'm pro the Second Amendment. And there you go. You can hear the sounds of a lot of my gaming viewers just like dropping off because they're like, this is not what I signed up for, you know? So when I started doing StarCraft, when I started playing StarCraft competitively, I put in so many hours a day. I would make myself play 10 to 20 games a day minimum. I tried really hard to raise in the ranks, but I realized that I was slowly starting to hate this game that I fucking had so much love for and respect for because I missed the other games that I used to play. I missed the different interactions that I could have with my stream chat when I'm playing just like a silly game of choice like The Walking Dead or something. Not that that was out back then, actually. I think the first one was out back then, but I wasn't playing it back then is the point. I didn't get to play the JRPGs and I didn't get to try out the indie games, and I was just stuck to this one game that now that I've made it almost a career, like you kind of have to make something almost a career in order to become a master at it. And I started to resent it a little bit. It's one of the reasons why I can understand why people who love basketball don't necessarily want to be on a team, or people who love sex don't necessarily want to make it a job and turn it into porn, aside from the other societal reasons most people don't want to be porn stars. I just realized that I was happier not just playing one game. And so I tried to bridge the gap by playing something easier like League of Legends and then also playing other games on the side and not like devoting all of my time to League of Legends to the point where I would get burnt out. I didn't like that because in the middle, I'm playing a competitive game casually and that just ugh. I know there are a lot of people who play like normals and ARAMs in League of Legends, or alternatively, if you play Magic, I know a lot of people play like fucking pauper cubes and shit that's not competitive. But for me, if I'm gonna do a competitive thing, I want to be fucking competitive. You know, I want to fucking actually play the game the way it's meant to be played at the highest levels. But I can't do that without investing all of my fucking time into it, you know? I was like, fuck it. I'm just gonna play whatever the fuck I want. And since then, I've lost all of my viewership, but I'm happy. And I think that's much more important. And I'm wondering if it is better down the line to force myself to become one of these fucking, what I consider to be a robot that focuses on one fucking thing and becomes a god at that one thing. But I would lose all of these other things. Like, let me run you through a few things that I've become decently good at, but not actually good at. I'm good enough to where a layman would be like, you are good, but I am not actually good to the point where it's a measurable, objective good at all. You know, obviously some of the stuff's subjective, like art stuff, but I really don't feel like there are still like visions of art where there are some objective qualities in art and beauty, and I don't think anyone could ever say that I'm the best artist. But when I was younger, I used to write a lot. I would write, I loved creative writing. I would write stories. I would never finish books, but I started books. I wrote scripts. I drew. I was never a good artist in terms of drawing, but I picked it up again a few years ago when I started altering magic cards. And I might put a picture of what I've done. And see, it's not terrible, but it's not good, you know? And I wrote some poetry, some short stories, and tried to write some fucking books, as I said. And they just never came to fruition because I lose interest, I lose passion in the middle. And then later on in my life, in my teen years and stuff, I started to get really good at makeup. I'm completely self-taught at makeup, and it took a long time for me to develop what I consider to be the most aesthetic look on my personal facial features, but I think I'm pretty close now. And if you were to look at me in sixth grade, or even look at some of my modeling pictures, my eyebrows were not ideal. Things were weird back then, but it was something I slowly developed myself on my own, just like picking up small tidbits from other people. That's why I get so much motivation and have so much appreciation for people who know their craft, because I can just look and take little tidbits. I remember, here's an anecdote. I hate how thin my hair is, or I've always hated like how thin my hair is. And I wanted to occasionally, and it became not occasional, but I wanted to occasionally have the like really big hair, you know? And I went with my mom to a hairdresser once, and my mom was getting her hair done, and they just took a comb and like back combed her hair in the back, and it was like, it looked like shit, but it was like a little fluffy poof in the back, and I'm like, holy shit, that's how they do it. And from then on, I had fucking bombshell ass crazy hair that I developed my own look that, you know, now kind of makes me cringe, but it was my own look, and I fucking loved it for so many years. It was something I developed just by picking like up some visual cues on how to fundamentally do something based on a few certain steps of like, comb goes down against hair shaft, hair stays up. I'm self-taught in CSS, website design, Photoshop. I even, when there was no good bot for Twitch channels and stuff, like a moderator bot that you could like type stuff into and it would respond to you, I actually created my own using MIRC, the MIRC language or whatever. And obviously I don't know the nomenclature and all that stuff because it's just like a self-taught thing. I only knew as much as I had to in order to fulfill the desire that I had, you know? Beyond that, I had no interest in being the MIRC god or anything. I just wanted to utilize that skill and learn that skill because, in my opinion, if you want something done right, you do it your fucking self. I think that's like the entire reason why I learned everything myself. When I was modeling, if anyone else did my makeup or hair, I absolutely resented it. I felt like they just did makeup and they didn't do makeup for me, you know? Like, they didn't take into account my facial features and how you could further feminize me or further make me look better based on my personal face shape. They would just do a makeup onto my face, and it wasn't the makeup for my face, but I knew my face. I knew the proportions and the symmetry that I wanted and the look that I wanted to have and the feel that I wanted to portray. And so that's why I always insisted upon doing my makeup. And I let people, I thought, of course, a makeup artist will know better than me. I allowed them to do it. I allowed people who worked on some of the best people to work on my face, and I never liked it. I learned Photoshop. I learned Sony Vegas, how to edit videos, how to edit pictures. I actually had a picture editing, photo editing business for a while, where I would edit models' photos for like a small price per photo or like bulk packages and stuff because I taught myself to do that for myself. And when I was doing it for other people, the passion was gone. So really the only thing I felt that I could do in my entire life was something like this. It's just, I have my own platform. It's not a specific genre. And even though it's going to be a detriment to my viewership and my subscriber count, I'm going to just do thousands of different things on my goddamn channel. Now, after all these years of wanting to learn bass guitar, I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna learn bass guitar, I'm gonna learn it my way, I'm gonna slowly watch YouTube videos and pick up tips, and I'm gonna try to do everything, like I'm gonna look at the fundamentals of holding the guitar, how not to get carpal tunnel, certain fucking fretting vagina shit, you know, like I'm gonna learn things that are important. I'm not going to skimp on that, but I'm going to learn at my pace, my way. I'm going to gamify it with Rocksmith, and I'm just going to fucking do these badass things that I've had in my fantasies where I'm just fucking shredding some bass solos and being the fucking foundation of my favorite metal music, you know? That's something I've fucking fantasized about, and now I'm going to fucking do it, and I'm never going to be the best bassist in the world, but I'm going to be able to play For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica, and it's going to look hot, and I'm going to do it in my underwear, and I'm going to fucking like jerk off to myself because it's so hot, not physically. I don't actually do that. Okay, I don't. I learned graphic design because I wanted a specific look for my Twitch stream, a specific type of splash overlays, and I do all my own overlays. I just, anything, little tidbit I learn, I just learn it, you know, because to me, learning knowledge, and I'm not like a big purveyor of like random knowledge. Do I want to ever hone in on just one thing, or do I want to continue to not benefit properly from knowing these things that I know? Because like, people come in and they'll go like, oh, she's so bad at gaming, she's so bad at StarCraft, and it's like, if you knew how many other things I'm so mediocre at, you would understand where all the time went that you spent on being better than platinum level in StarCraft. I don't know. I like myself. I like where I'm at. But occasionally, I'll watch a video of someone who's damn good at what they do, and I get this lady boner, and it inspires me to be that way, and then I put my feet back on the ground, and I'm like, I'm already fucking 20-something, in my late 20s, and I don't think I have time to become the world's greatest XYZ like I feel like I want to be right now. And I know over time it'll just be a waste of time and I'll give up, not because I can't do it. How do you know you talk too much in a video? When your card is full and you have to pull the card out of LAD to have any more room to keep filming said video. Oh man. So yeah, like I said, I know that if I put my mind to it, I can do anything I want to because I've done so many of the things that I want to at a small degree. I've done things like, do you guys remember a few years ago I said I can't braid hair? And then I just kept saying I can't braid hair. I wish I could braid hair. I've always wanted to have cute, like, I really love the look of French and Dutch braids. And, you know, one day I was like, why am I not learning to braid? And then in one day, I learned the fucking twist braid, the French braid, the Dutch braid. I can do literally anything with hair now. And it's just because I spent like 5 seconds like starting a YouTube video and then seeing, oh, that's the technique, okay. And then just doing it myself until I can fucking do it. And I mean, I feel like I do my own acrylic nails now. Like only half of them are acrylic. These two, because it's easier to finger pick on a base if I have like longer nails, but all the rest of the nails have to be short. So I'm doing my own like gel manicures and my own acrylics and stuff. Just like I have so many little skills, but I'm a master of none of them. And I think through talking about this, I think I want to stay that way. You know, I was debating whether or not I wanted to try to be really good at bass guitar or something, but there are certain aspects of it beyond the fundamentals, beyond just me feeling the music and wanting to play the things that I want to play and wanting to do covers and wanting to maybe experiment with doing like some really shitty like composing or something. I don't want to be a god at it. I don't want to become a music snob. I don't think that the time I invest in that will make me happy. I think a lot of people go down one path because it's profitable and some people I'm sure do have the passion to keep going, and sometimes the hurdles, they'll get over the hurdles because the passion drives them to get to the end because it's what they really want. And I think you have to really want something in order to change. And I personally don't want to change. I personally think this is the way that I want to be. I want to be someone who can help you out in a lot of things, but is not perfect in anything. I think the only thing I'm really good at is giving blowjobs. I think I've perfected the art of blowjob, but again, it's a subjective art, so you'd have to like enjoy one of my blowjobs to make an opinion about it. But I think I'm real good. But anyway, going back to the whole like even though someone turns me on based on their merit, I can still find them unattractive. Adam Neely is one of those guys. I feel like I can't stop staring at how bad his teeth are. And I feel like teeth are one of my deal breakers. Teeth is one of my deal breakers. I know that sounds weird, but that's kind of how it is in that sentence. I was so turned on when he did a grammar Nazi thing where he corrected himself, and I'm like, oh my god, fucking Nietzsche and bass guitar, and oh, you're teaching me shit, and then like, oh, this grammar Nazi shit, like, holy fuck, just fuck me right now. And then I remember he has those teeth, so yeah, there are some things that are not non-negotiable. You gotta have fucking not dirty looking, not crazy teeth. Obviously, you can have not perfect teeth like me, but I think that's one of the things on me that's like objectively perfect, my teeth, you know? I don't know. Some people like the bunny teeth with the longer teeth. Oh, I had such a fight. That's another thing. Like, I think obviously my whole ideology about if you want something done right, do it yourself is definitely the reason why I've learned so many things that I've learned, and I've become so self-sufficient in so many ways. I mean, I built my own computer. What else is there? Like, there are so many things that I can do. So many things that I know a moderate amount of things about. But my distrust for professionals in whatever field has also pushed me to be this way, because when I was younger, I thought my parents knew everything, and of course you should just appeal to every authority possible because obviously they've made a living doing their job. But recently, I've just realized there are so many professionals, so many like skilled people who are like in a certain profession, and they're like a professional XYZ that literally just do enough to get by, and they don't even have the passion that I have in order to like self-actualize in their chosen field. And that's something that I kind of pity. Like, it's kind of like I look down on that a little bit. Like, you have one thing, presumably, because that's your profession, and you're not even fucking doing that well. You're not even going above and beyond in that. Like, do something you have a fucking passion for, dude. I just feel like it's so It's so easy to become complacent in your life where you're stuck in this dead-end job that you don't love, and even if you're a professional in that field, and you just kind of stop learning. Like, never fucking stop learning, please. I'm not going to. Even though I'm going to continue to be mediocre in things, I'm just going to continue to be mediocre in a larger amount of things. I think it adds to the romanticism of the people that I romanticize to if they're that much better at something that I admire them being good at. Because if I got that good at bass guitar or that good at public speaking and debate, that's something I will continue to work on always, because it encompasses everything that I do. Just being good at speaking, being good at expressing myself is the most important thing in the world. Freedom of speech to me is the most important thing in the world. And if I'm misrepresenting myself because I'm not using the proper vernacular and I'm not making my point as concise as I possibly can, then I'm not doing any part of my job, in my opinion. I'm not entertaining well. I'm not conveying information. I just like... I love the way that looks. It looks so gross. It looks like an asshole's like prolapsing on my face. I'm gonna go stream. It's funny, today I pushed myself to actually do something because it's my third day of feeling like I just want to lay in bed and do goddamn nothing. Jesus fucking Cox, what in the name of God? How long is this fucking video? This is my longest fucking video. I don't know if you guys like this kind of thing. I'm gonna go now because I feel like I've just been taking up way too much of your time with absolutely nothing. And this is why I don't do videos like this that often anymore. Mainly because I'm not comfortable with holding Vlad like this while talking. I keep fumbling and my brain becomes foggy. I don't know, something about me holding. It's kind of like when I play bass, I cannot sing the lyrics. Even though I know the lyrics have been ingrained in my brain since I was like 1. I cannot sing Money or Learning to Fly or Time by Pink Floyd while I'm playing it. It's like different time signatures than the vocals. And like my face literally drops to like what it would look like when I'm dead. While I'm playing, like nothing else works. It's just... I surmise that will change once I get better and it's just like second nature to me. But right now, when I'm playing a new song especially, it's like, can't do shit else. So, what was I saying about, why was that a point? Oh yeah, I can't hold Vlad and think and talk anymore, so I don't do Vlad vlogs and stuff like that much anymore. But I don't know if you guys appreciate this. I do so many different things on my channel, and again, that's another part of me being a jack of all trades, is I got the sexy stuff, I got the sex ed, I got the comedy type stuff like Tara reads comments. I'll just do like random hauls talking about girly shit or like makeup occasionally. I'll talk philosophy, games, obviously. I have like a whole channel on that. It's just, I don't know. I like so many things, and instead of making my channel about one niche, I want you guys on the channel to feel all of me in the least sexual way possible and a little bit sexual way. I want you guys to know everything about me because I'm an open book, and that's what my channel is about, and therefore it's not just going to be one thing like guns or music or philosophy or whatever. I just want to do whatever I feel like doing that day, and this is literally the only fucking platform and the only job that I can do where I'm doing that. So thank you guys so much for supporting me. I know some of my videos might not be your cup of tea. I'm assuming that this video is very much not your cup of tea to the majority of you who just want to like see tits or have me do something very bang bang pow, lots of cuts type of thing. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. If you did, let me know by posting in the comments, stick 10 dildos in my nose sideways. There you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video if you did get to the end. I love you, and yeah, any comments you have if you feel the same way, or if you're one of those people that sticks with one thing till the end, that's cool too. I probably admire you if you're really good at what you do, and I admire what you do in whichever genre you're doing it. Maybe I'd want to fuck you for it. Just a little bit of titties though. I can't leave you guys high and dry if you sat here and listened to me fucking blather on for tens of thousands of years. Two fucking SD cards full of shit. Thank you for your support.